What if retirement happiness has nothing to do with how much money you have and everything to do with where you choose to live? For decades, retirement followed a predictable path. Work hard, save money, then retire somewhere familiar. But today, something is changing. More retirees are choosing to move abroad, not just for lower costs, but for a better life. And two regions keep appearing at the top of the list. On one side, Europe. Places like Portugal, Spain, and Greece. On the other side, Southeast Asia, countries like Thailand, Vietnam, and Malaysia. Both regions offer incredible lifestyles, but in very different ways. Some retirees say Europe offers comfort, familiarity, and balance. Others say Southeast Asia offers freedom, affordability, and a completely new way of living. So which one actually makes retirees happier? In this video, we're going deep into the reality of both regions, the lifestyle, the costs, the culture, the daily experience, and the hidden factors most people don't think about. By the end of this video, you might completely rethink where you want to spend your retirement, cost of living. One of the biggest differences between Europe and Southeast Asia is cost. In Southeast Asia, retirees often find their money goes significantly further. In places like Chiang Mai or Da Nang, it's possible to live comfortably at a fraction of Western costs. Dining out is inexpensive. Transportation is cheap. Housing can be very affordable. This creates a feeling many retirees describe as freedom, less financial stress, more flexibility, more opportunities to enjoy life. In Europe, the cost of living is generally higher, but in countries like Portugal or Greece, it can still be relatively affordable compared to Northern Europe. Here, the experience is different. Less extreme affordability, but more stability, more predictability, and often fewer surprises. The verdict on housing? Southeast Asia is genuinely 30 to 50% cheaper for comparable quality at the comfortable tier. The gap narrows, though doesn't close, when you move to the premium tier, where European apartments often offer more architectural character and space. Food. This is where the comparison gets genuinely interesting, because food satisfaction tracks closely with overall happiness in both regions, and the mechanisms are completely different. In Europe, the food culture rewards slow engagement. Portugal's petiscos, Spain's tapas and menú del día, Greece's meze. These are not just meals, but social rituals that embed eating into the fabric of human connection. A three-course menú del día in Valencia, 12 to 15 euros. An evening of Portuguese petiscos for two, 20 to 35 euros. In Southeast Asia, the food culture rewards exploration and abundance. Chiang Mai's night markets offer dishes at $1 to $3 that represent genuine culinary achievement. Penang's hawker centers, which we've discussed in depth before, produce food that serious chefs fly across the world to eat for $1.50 to $3.50 per dish. Da Nang's seafood, bought fresh from the morning boats and cooked simply over fire, $5 to $12 for two people. The verdict on food? Southeast Asia wins decisively on price. Europe wins on wine, cheese, and the specific pleasures of a food culture built around sitting and savoring rather than exploring and discovering. Which wins for your retirement depends entirely on what kind of eater you are. Utilities and services. Europe, electricity, heating, and water in a two-bedroom apartment across the southern European destinations, 80 to 180 euros per month, higher in winter when heating is genuinely necessary. Internet, 30 to 60 euros for good fiber. A part-time cleaner, 12 to 18 euros per hour. Southeast Asia, electricity, exclusively for air conditioning in the tropics, is the wild card. Malaysia has heavily subsidized electricity, $22 to $55 per month. Thailand and Vietnam, $40 to $100, but no heating bills, ever. Internet, $15 to $30 for excellent fiber, genuinely fast. A full-time live-in housekeeper, $200 to $350 per month total, a cost that is genuinely life-altering for retirees who value that support. What daily life actually feels like. Living in Portugal, Spain, or Greece as a foreign retiree has a specific quality that is very difficult to describe from the outside, but almost universally recognized from the inside. It feels like being in a slower, more human version of Western life. The social rhythms are familiar enough to be comfortable, but different enough to be genuinely restorative. The Spanish sobremesa, the hours of conversation after a meal that have no purpose beyond being together, is foreign to Anglo-American cultures, but comprehensible to them. The Portuguese saudade, the bittersweet emotional depth that colors conversations and relationships, is unfamiliar, but not impenetrable. The Greek Cathenian culture, hours over coffee and backgammon, the news of the village exchanged with the serious attention usually reserved for affairs of state, is charming rather than alien. What daily life actually feels like in Southeast Asia. Living in Thailand, Malaysia, or Vietnam as a foreign retiree has a completely different quality, and one that is equally genuine, equally valid, and for a specific type of person, profoundly superior. The immediate overwhelming experience is sensory richness. Southeast Asia is louder, brighter, smellier, hotter, and more alive than any European environment. The street food alone, the sizzle of a wok, the smell of lemongrass and fish sauce and grilling meat, the visual spectacle of a Thai night market at 8 p.m. produces a specific pleasure response that is genuinely addictive for people who are wired for it. The warmth of the people, while different from European social warmth, is real and continuous. The Thai concept of sanuk, fun, lightness, joy in everyday interactions, creates a social environment where transactions that would be neutral in Europe, buying groceries, taking a taxi, ordering food, are frequently small moments of genuine human exchange. Malaysian hospitality is instinctive and generous. Vietnamese social warmth, more reserved than Thai, but equally genuine once established, rewards patience with extraordinary depth. The cultural integration question, the honest assessment. Here is the honest truth about cultural integration in both regions that neither camp wants to fully acknowledge. In Europe, you can become genuinely integrated, genuinely local, if you invest in the language and the community over years. The cultural framework is comprehensible. The social codes, while different from Anglo-American ones, are navigable with the same basic Western social toolkit. You can, over time, stop being the foreigner and start being the person who moved here from England or America, which is a different and better social position. In Southeast Asia, you will almost certainly never stop being the foreigner. Not because people are unwelcoming, they are extraordinarily welcoming, but because the cultural distance is greater. The racial visibility is permanent, and the social structures are different enough that full integration requires either extraordinary language mastery, decades of presence, or both. For most Western retirees in Southeast Asia, the social experience is one of very warm, very pleasant, perpetual guesthood. Climate and daily comfort. Europe offers seasonal variety. Warm summers, cool winters, changing landscapes. Southeast Asia offers year-round warmth, but also humidity and sometimes intense weather patterns. For some retirees, climate alone determines their happiness. The real secret to retirement happiness. After comparing everything, one truth becomes clear. Happiness doesn't come from the region itself. It comes from alignment. Alignment between your personality and your environment. Some people thrive in structured, predictable environments. Others thrive in flexible, dynamic ones.